Okay, let's get into it. That's going back to do. Who coming through, do. Y'all know 6, 7 heads, some say 2, something about this confirmation. Like, ooh, what we doing? Come on, y'all, we in the car fluid. Make the beat like, keep it fishy like. Alright, y'all, I know I'm about to talk about it. Huh? Y'all didn't think I'm gonna rock about it. I'm in the car, let's talk about it. Oh, we ain't got no time for jokes tonight. I'm doing the mix test on a project that I'm working on, and I think it hits. But speaking of what don't hit, RFK's punchlines and that confirmation. So I didn't know how and /when/where I was gonna share what I was really feeling after paying a few minutes of attention to what was quite unbearable. So before I continue, first of all, good night everybody, good evening, good afternoon, depending where you're from. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm in my vehicular. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on the road, so I can't really be reading the comments tonight. But I spent most of the day today in the mountains working on some things. But now I'm driving back to the city. So this I don't really know how to explain where I'm coming from, so I'm just going to share with y'all my perspective, like how the trickle of events happened in my world and what my mind was thinking about at the time when it happened. So all I know is I wake up to a series of, like, I don't even wake up because I try not to check my phone when I first wake up, but I get up and I'm kind of flooded with a series of announcements about the confirmation, and mostly just like it being a crap show, like a literal show. And I just remember being like, wait, I thought that was, oh wait, that's today? Oh wait, hold on. This person's watching it live. So I went to YouTube, right? I say, well, I don't want to watch anybody's commentary about it before I watch it for myself. I just want to see it for myself. And I went to YouTube, and it was, I think, maybe 10 results. 10 different channels were watching it. And the first thing that I noticed when I watch it is I go, okay, interesting. PBS NewsHour, CBS was the top result. CBS has 786 people watching. And I was like, oh, that seems like quite low for like a whole big deal, right? Then I get down to PBS and CNN, and we're talking 3,000, 4,000. You get down to Fox, and Fox had 78,000 watching. And I noticed that Newsmax or Fox Now, Fox Live or whatever, had another like 60,000. So clearly everybody who was watching this was watching it on Fox, which already tells me, okay, ain't nobody paying attention to this than people who already agree with RFK, who already watch Fox, who already voted for Trump. So they're watching. And then I'm met with what I could stomach, which is about 20, 30 minutes of the quite most ridiculous adult conversation I've ever seen in my life. And here's why it's ridiculous. Because it's too, we're all too old and too important, and our families and our children and everything are too important to be dancing around discussing tough subjects. So I'm gonna I don't have that much longer left on the drive, so I'm gonna kind of try to just cut to the chase with what was going through my head as I'm hearing this. So the big takeaways for me was RFK repeatedly saying, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine. Which means either he was lying then, or he was lying before, or somebody on his behalf in terms of your assessment of him being not pro-vaccine, or he kept the same energy this whole time and he always said he was pro-vaccine. I'm just for safer vaccines. I just want safe vaccines. That's the grease, y'all. It's the same thing that Rand Paul does. It's the same thing that Ron Paul did. It's the same thing that Ross Perot did before them. It's the same thing that Tucker does. they let the steam out the conversation. I call them the steam valve. It means like when you don't talk about what everybody want to talk about for so long, and the second day in office, you're like, hey, I don't know how to read I don't know how to say what I'm supposed to say. I'm just looking at this piece of paper. I'm gonna let Larry Ellison and Sam Altman come up here, and they're gonna do the talking. You the whole president. Everybody just voted for you. Why are you just reading, bro? Like, say something. But he doesn't. I mean, he says a few words from the cue cards that he clearly didn't write. And then we're getting things that nobody asked for, right? So here we are with RFK at his confirmation, essentially saying, no, but I'm pro-vaccine, though. Like, that's just a conspiracy. Like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm pro-vaccine. I'm pro-vaccine the whole time. The only people watching is the Fox News people. Remember, it's like 700 people on CBS watching. I didn't even see MSNBC covering it at all. CNN had 4.6 thousand. All the other quasi-independent channel, I'm not quasi-independent, just like things that weren't MSNBC or Fox, they all had like 5 or less thousand people watching, and 290 something thousand according to the ticker on the Fox Live. Everybody who was watching it was on Team RFK, Team Trump, okay? Like 95% of people, okay? So on top of that, you're hearing this hero of yours, and I say hero quasi-facetiously, because the second you go to talking to somebody who shares his sentiments, they will quickly tell you, well, RFK's not my hero. He's just a guy who's going to try to do the best he can to change Washington and get into the Department of Health and Human Services. He's got all these liberal, Bernie Sanders and all these people. I'm trying to tell y'all, it doesn't work like this. I want to get back to RFK in a second, but I need y'all to understand, it doesn't work like that. There is no like Health and Human Services person, leader, that tells the underlings to change things in the department that trickle down to a net change. I should say a net change. Now, it might be like giving you $1 to steal $1 billion, like, oh, I went from having $0 to having $1. Turns out they took $1 billion in the background. But I'm saying a net change. Like, that net change was negative $999 million for you. I'm saying there is no top-down net change for you. The net change comes from within. It comes from God. It comes through you, through others on the ground level, and sometimes in the angelic realms and things like that. But it doesn't come from like anybody, any politician. It doesn't matter which side. So I need people to understand, this is not about bashing RFK or Trump. This is about saying, y'all, it don't work like they telling y'all. It don't work like this. That's why it was so frustrating for me to watch, because all I'm watching is Bernie Sanders and RFK, who sounds older than he is. I realize Bernie Sanders is much older than Robert F. Kennedy, but with RFK's voice, he sounds much older. It sounds like two old dudes arguing in the YMCA over who been smoking cigars the longest. It was just kind of like, are y'all kidding me right now? I'm a whole adult. Okay, I make my choices for my family, period. Okay? There's an ABC store every other block around here, a liquor store every other block. Do I need to have a Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives tell me and help regulate what's a safe amount of alcohol for my child, or the lack thereof? No. These are decisions that you need to make, not that RFK needs to make, because this is so not what y'all think. When I tell you this is out with the old, in with the new, please understand that I'm not skedaddling with this. I mean that very poignantly. They are phasing out of traditional pharma to make way for biotech. How do you know? Because the tech in BioNTech is what's coursing through half this world's blood veins at the moment. This dude just said, we're launching STARGATE. Nobody even has a clue of what that is. Listen, I have mutual connections with, I've never met Bobby Kennedy myself. The one time I could have, he ain't had the time for me, so we didn't talk. But I have multiple mutual connections with him, and they all speak nice. Well, Pause. Not all. Some mostly speak nice of him. But then I know some dirt too. And it's like, I'm not here to dish dirt or be messy and spill tea. But what I am here to do is just tell y'all it's not what y'all think. I don't know how else to say it. It's just another thing going on. You should be able to tell when you're listening to Elizabeth Warren anecdotally try to force somebody she theoretically disagrees with to admit and confirm today, like promise me today, like make a commitment that you will not do this one thing. It's like, are you kidding me right now? I'm like, first of all, I would have to see something ironclad and lawyered up to know whether I could commit to anything. You should know that, most of all, Elizabeth Warren. Second of all, what are you talking about? Are we really going to sit here in this whole entire confirmation and pretend like pharma and politics don't scratch each other's back? I would have embarrassed her so quick. I've seen so many people repost, RFK slams Elizabeth Warren, RFK slams, he exposes Bernie Sanders. These people was already in the mix, in the swamp. What do you mean exposes? What's to expose? He in the system. What's to expose? So is Elizabeth Warren. You really think these people get voted into their locations? You don't think this is like a apparatus at work? Okay, maybe you don't think that. Maybe you just honestly don't think that there is an apparatus at work. Okay, I'm going to ask you this serious question, and I want you to consider this for 5 entire seconds. So I'm gonna shut my mouth for 5 whole seconds, so you can consider this point. At what moment, if we know about the dynasties of the kings of Babylon, of Media Persia, of Greece, of Rome, Herods, Xerxes, Nebuchadnezzar's, Alexander the Great. Okay, these are what we consider dynasties, one having taken over the previous one, so we're told. Okay, I want to know in what succession of the chain has the leadership class ever been broken? And I'll give you a pro tip. Don't give me no American Revolution. They lied to us about that. So I'm going to ask you the question, and I'm going to shut up. When was the elites? When were the secret society families? When were the families that ran ancient Rome and the royal families and the subsequent bequeathings? When were they uprooted from their financial and governmental power? When? Right. Never. Literally never. Okay? I'm not mad at you. I'm really not. I'm just trying to tell you, they're still doing the same thing today. They're just feigning like the Electoral College wasn't swaying the vote in the direction that they wanted every time. Plus, since the 11-year-old girl was the one who put together that Obama at the time was related to all the presidents, who are also related to John Laughlin, King of England, and from the 1100s. This is a family thing. Donald Trump is not any different. Oh, my light went out. Donald Trump is not any different on this regard, okay? No different. 0%. So, I'm not here to hate on Trump. If you ask me, he definitely makes the act a little bit more entertaining. I'll give you that. It was clearly boring. But if you can't see that there was this warp speed and then 4 years of whatever the heck that was, and then STARGATE next to the billionaire and the other billionaire and the other billionaire robot that basically are running the show probably from an AI that's already giving commands and orders, and they're just actually following the script. Because I want to ask y'all this serious question. If you ask me, if I say I'm going to give you $100 billion, and on TV, you tried to steal one on me, and you were like, make it 2. And I'm going to give you $200 billion. And then a few weeks later, I hop up on a press conference in TV set that is the Oval Office, standing in front of a flag that has golden fringes, indicating to anybody who's paying attention that this state represented inside of these golden fringes is a commercial vassal state. It is not running the show for what you're being spoken. It is operating as a fiduciary of a bigger conglomerate in a corporate admiralty sense. This is in the U.S. code. Y'all want to say conspiracy, but the dude's up there standing in front of an American flag with golden fringes, and I'm trying to tell y'all, look at the set around you. Who do you think put those flags there? When you go to buy a flag at a Walmart, how many times you seen the one with the golden fringes at the Walmart? Never. Why? Because they don't want you to understand or pay attention to none of that stuff. You just need to vote so they can get the Electoral College to make sure that their programming did work, and the poll that you took, the polling station that you went to, was effective at polling, getting a poll of whether or not the marketing did work. And the fact that the marketing did work is why they know that their mind control is on lock. And in the few locations and precincts that it wasn't, we've got the Electoral College to fix that right on up. But y'all really think that if I got stole on live TV, hey, yo, give me 200 billion, and I'm already about to just pledge 100 billion. Okay. Y'all don't think that I got the upper hand? Like, who's bending over to whom? In the very crude and prudish, not prudish, the opposite of prudish analogy. If you need 200 billion, and I got $200 billion, who is in the upper hand and who is in the lower hand? I don't want to hear no but. I don't want to hear no 5D chess. None of that. I'm asking you, if there's Larry Ellison, a literal billionaire from a very famous company that basically is the CIA, okay, and there's this other, like, you don't even know if he's Japanese, Chinese, or Korean because you don't know the difference. All you know is China. TikTok, ban China. China shouldn't have influence over the thought of our people. He's not Chinese, I don't think, right? I don't know the difference. Anyway, I'm not racist, but TikTok now. It's like the Drake meme. TikTok, this guy over here, yeah, he's cool. Why? Because he's giving my president guy 500 billion, right? Over double what he asked for in an embarrassing business fashion. If we have a meeting and I'm saying I'm gonna pledge 100 billion, don't ask me for 2 on camera and then mess around and get 5. This is I'm giving you this analogy to let you know, if I got 500 billion, and I got Larry Ellison standing right over there, and me nor him need some cue cards to say anything at the mic. We step right up to the mic and we just get to talking. It's just as natural. Meanwhile, this 70,000-year-old, however old he is, over here, most popular guy, right? It's like reading without the 500 billion that he clearly needed. I'm telling you, the billionaires are in charge, and the guy reading from the cue cards is not in charge. Okay? So when I see RFK sitting, I'm flipping stories. I need y'all to, I'm driving that point home. If I got 2 billionaires sitting here and they're pledging 500 million, right? Or 500 billion to start this great data center, to start STARGATE, it's probably their project, and I'm just the guy selling it to the millions of people that voted for me. We'll be very nice tonight. I'm not here to flame anybody. I'm just asking you, don't tell me 5D chess. Ask me how anybody with any billion, never mind 500, is not really running the whole entire thing. That's what an executive producer does, right? I come from the Hollywood world. The executive producer, in some cases, is very hands-off. They're like, I trust you, here's a bunch of money, just give me something that I can make some more money with. They don't even necessarily care what's going on. They just want to make that money. It's just a business thing. Occasionally, there's a spectrum, right? On the far end is a very hands-off EP. He just makes deals happen, moves money around, and he never steps on set except for to just show up once during the famous episodes of the behind-the-scenes camera can get the executive producer on set, and then he puts that on the website, and he never is on set. Otherwise, he's on vacation making money. The other end of the spectrum are executive producers that are very hands-on. And they very hands-on because they paid all the money for you to even be there in the first place. You see how this works? So if you're the director and I'm the lead actor, I don't care if you Denzel Washington and doggone Martin Scorsese. If I'm the executive producer and I go, I don't like it like that. Let's do it this way. Guess what Denzel Washington and Martin Scorsese are going to be doing? Doing it my way if I'm the EP. Because as the EP, I'd be like, excuse you, Mr. Scorsese, I understand. I hired you, remember? So don't snap at me because we can amend this contract real quick. That's how the world works. Money talks, right? So I see billionaires and basically CIA front faces of billionaires that look like old Bill from the show Westworld, if y'all remember what that character is. Anyway, that's who I see running the show. And that's my bigger point to the most recent series of lives that I've been doing regarding the biofield, the Internet of Bodies. Y'all, they're switching out of traditional pharma. They're changing it out. They're getting you to focus on WWE stuff relating to vaccines. RFK is, look, here's the thing. I'm not even saying he's consciously doing this. I don't know the guy. All the mutual friends, most of the mutual friends we have, speak highly of him. So maybe he just don't know what he don't know. That's a thing too, right? Not every politician is in on the greater secret. There's levels to this, right? They keep a lot of people outside of a need to know because there's less plot holes to have to patch up if somebody get to talking or get too drunk one day, or somebody get a remote viewer sicked on their behind. So there's like all kinds of stuff going on in the background, and most folk are just being presented with helicopters crashing into airplanes that conveniently take the conversation off the awful confirmation that was yesterday. I'm not saying that's the reason. I'm just saying it's convenient. It's convenient that we're not having to hear this hero of the people against the vaccine say, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine 1,000 times when he's asked by a bunch of liberals when no liberals are even watching the show to begin with, because the only people watching is on Fox. It's a form of mass mind control, y'all. I'm telling you, unplug from it. This guy does not need to do anything to Health and Human Services to make me make smart decisions for my child. Now, sure, if he goes in and overhauls the whole thing, whoop-de-whoop-de-doo. But what does that actually mean for me at the end of the day? Literally nothing. Now, sure, maybe my friends will get maimed less. Okay. But also maybe, they're just throwing old pharma out from under the bus because they're about to stop using the word vaccine altogether. That's why I can say it now, right? Because Mark Zuckerberg came online and was like, listen, I know y'all don't know how Meta works. I know y'all don't know anything about the venture capital firms that actually started Facebook. And I realized that Armie Hammer and Jesse Eisenberg were great in the social network. So that's what y'all really think happened. So we're just going to leave it at that. So here they got me out here 15, 20 years later trying to tell y'all I'm sorry that your grandma probably didn't hear the warnings to not get the thing that actually made her messed up. But we was trying to install a cyber bio interface. And we just couldn't have pesky people like 6'7" over here telling people not to. Now that it's installed, he can say what he wants. Now that it's too late to do anything about it. Now that everybody who's already been going to be plugged in has been plugged in, and everybody who's waking up to this has already woken up, and everybody who ain't probably just ain't. I'm not going to say they ain't. I'm just going to say, how many signs have to be? It's like at a certain point, it's like the Stockholm syndrome gets to you or it doesn't. At the end of the day, you either make it out of Stockholm and you're in a different city in Sweden, or you stuck in Sverige in Stockholm, Arlanda, right at the airport. So all this hollering and hooting got me high. I'm about to roll these windows down now that I've slowed down. So the reason I'm sharing you, I saw Johnny's comment. He said, Seek One said, let him know. Bro, this dude right here, one day we're going to talk with him because he say too much stuff. The internet not really ready for what he got to say, because even I'll be hearing him like, where are you? I mean, you might be onto something, but you can't say that out loud, bro. That's going to get you killed. That's wild. Anyway, let me calm down. The issue that I have with the confirmation is it was like two adults arguing like middle school kids, like two old ladies arguing at a bingo competition, or two old dudes arguing about whose junk is more shriveled in the YMCA locker room. It's so like ugh. And here's the thing, people gonna either love him or hate him, Owen Benjamin. But he be making fun of RFK's voice, and I don't like to make fun of the voice, but I be laughing at him making fun of it, mostly because I understand that this dude has a vocal issue, like a condition. I understand that. I simply don't. I can't help as a filmmaker but notice. Okay, so let me get this straight. The one guy, not Ross Perot, not Ron Paul, not Rand Paul, not literally anybody, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been allowed to speak out on behalf of the people, to be the so-and-so, quote-unquote, voice of the people. Is it not a big punchline that the guy who's the voice of the people has like a voice that most people can't understand? It's like a guy with a voice problem is the voice of the people. See what I'm saying? It's like a tall guy named Tiny. It's kind of a, in this context, it's a joke, right? But in the case of what Owen keeps highlighting, I'm like, I can't. That's rich. That's comedic gold right there. It's not fun to make fun of people, and I'm honestly not making fun of RFK. I get it. He has a condition, but it's like, why do I want to hear what he's saying, and I'm struggling to hear? Like, I'm like, get to the, where's the 2X button? Put him on 2X. Okay, but say something better than that. She just embarrassed you on a channel that only your people are watching, right? None of her people are watching. Okay, she just embarrassed you, and then you didn't re-embarrass her. You get into anecdote. Then Bernie Sanders brings up some specific point about some snippet from Lex Friedman's podcast. It's just like, y'all sound like the Real World Road Rules cast in the reunion episode. That's what y'all look like to an actual grown 40-year-old dude who doesn't actually need anything of what y'all are selling. Plus, I know that if you're on pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine, I'm pro-vaccine. Meanwhile, the guy who's appointing you to Health and Human Services is Operation Stargate, full steam ahead. Dun, 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 dun. What planet would you like to go to? Let me pull up the microfilm in the hard drive that represents Mars. Oh, you want to go occupy Mars? How many petabytes? How many thousands of terabytes is Mars? We don't know yet, but you can help us populate that. How much RAM you got? So you can load the world out and buffer enough. Like, that's what's going on. That's what's really going on. So if y'all are like clapping on, oh yes, better safety testing in a pseudo-scientific baseline entire hustle that's so old, they're literally making a caricature TV show out of the expose of it as a sales pitch for the new poison. The trick is so old, they're making a caricaturized cartoon WWE. Elizabeth Warren versus Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He speaks for the people, but listen to him speak. You can't understand him, can you? Plus, you don't have that much time for him to get to his point anyway, and they're out of time. Bernie, you get up here. How about you just traipse up, what do we have? Some onesies from the Children's Health Defense website. This dude brought a whole easel, Exhibit A, Exhibit B, on some blue background, looking like we in the second grade, like he went across the street to Kmart or Walmart or Sam's World or wherever and got himself a little 89-cent poster board because mama said, you gonna get an A, baby. That's what that looked like. That's exactly what that looked like to me. And he's like, there's our onesies for sale. It says unvaccinated and unafraid. Are you going to commit today that you will go to whoever runs the shop on your website and tell them to take this clothing down? Bernie, pause. First of all, why? Why? Did anybody need to go to Abercrombie and Fitch website and tell them to take down them clothes I ain't never going to buy? I mean, when the last time you had to go to Aeropostale, the web person, be like, can you please remove everything that Chris could possibly fit in, because we don't want him to buy this because it might represent what else we got going on in the negative. But it's just kind of like, what are they talking about, y'all? Why does anybody need to police anybody's website because adults aren't smart enough to make their own grown adult decisions? Where does like you so old you don't even make sense that you even hear what you sound like? That's what I feel like the deal is with Bernie. I'll be like, bro, do you hear you? I don't think you do. So this is the issue with RK or Trump or anybody. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of how the system works and what's happening in the background. If I'm cutting straight to the chase, cutting all the jokes out, literally getting to the meat and cutting all the marbled fat out of the whole entire T-bone, this little boink, boink, boink wasn't the V word it's commonly associated with, it was not one of those. I got flagged in the past for saying it's a biological device because some of the early researchers I were listening to was kind of like, it's gene therapy biological device protocol. Yeah, because it was billions of little devices in you that have wireless relay and auto formation probabilities. And according to certain research, anthrobot and xenobot formation look like little popcorn shrimp up in your nervous system, central nervous system. Never mind if they call it MS. The doctors don't know what's going on either. So the whole point is to surveil and run the entire world through the internet based in whoever owns the servers with the most data. I used to always hear them talk about big data, big data, big data. And I was always like, okay, I get big pharma, I get big oil, I get big tech, but big data, it's like, I have now come to understand exactly what big data is and why it's so important. Big data is the most up-to-date and most robust model, a set of metrics that can be fed into the most powerful working AI model at any given moment to achieve any desire, any location, any thought, any suggestion, any physical control. You driving in your whole arm, you flying a helicopter, avoiding an airplane, and your arm goes to the right, and you're like, my arm, I can't control it. Looks like you had night vision goggles on. DEI. That's not even the goal, that's the present. That's what they've been able to do at the military level, and it is now being rolled out against the world because the world is considered the enemy to the people in the control of the big buttons. So while that's happening, and this doink, 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 especially of the mRNA variant, is really honestly just a fancy dancy way of getting all kinds of red herring ingredients into you, adjuvants and things that stimulate an immune response, but also a bunch of lipid nanoparticles that might contain who knows what. They told you it was a spike protein. Now you wouldn't know if it's a spike protein or wasn't, because you just wouldn't. And not only did they do it in the 70s, but turns out they did it again in 2020 when they just lied to the FDA about what was actually in it. And you still don't think this, you think RFK, now, 5 years later, is going to maybe get confirmed and maybe make some sweeping changes. Sweeping. That's what y'all think. He is allowed to have the position he has so that while the entire marathon is running out the stadium, he can be the elephant, the sloth the size of an elephant, going, hold on you guys, I'll get out I realize the stadium's on fire and everyone's trying to get out the way, but before we could just get to the bottom of the truth about the idea that all this vaccinology is a farce, let's have a long dragged out dramatic show. Meanwhile, Zookeeper Warren and Zookeeper Sanders are over here like, yeah. And people are just lapping it up on both sides of the aisle. I'm not in the pews. I'm not in the aisle. I'm not on either side of the aisle. I'm trying to say, I don't even consider them micro wins, right? If you live in a paper mache jail, and I'm building a wrought iron made of steel, made of alloyed titanium pure crystalline steel. And I have to demolish your paper mache jail first in order to build the steel jail. Is it a good thing that I'm demolishing the jail? Is that like a win? Should we clap for that? Yay, they're building a new jail. And this one you definitely not gonna be able to get off because it's genetic. It's DNA manipulative. It's recombinant. What's recombinant? Don't look it up. Don't do that. Have Sanjay Gupta tell you in 2-sentence sound bites. Yeah, somebody just said we need to take control of our spirit in order to be able to keep our bodies safe. You're right. But ask me how many doink doink doinks is literally trying to remove said spirit. I'm asking for a friend at this point because they're not fooling me with this mess. They might be fooling you, but they're not fooling me because the amount of, like, that's why I told you after like 15 minutes I was like, this is tough to sit through. That doesn't matter. That's not how it works. What does that matter? Why are you mentioning that? Why didn't you fire back with anything better? She just said some BS like right in your face and you ain't say nothing but that. Plus it took you 5 minutes to get to the point. Like, okay, like I guess like that's the best we got. Why can't I understand him? Like I want to hear the dude. I'm listening. I'm literally actually listening. But like I can. What did you say? And like why are you so upset? Like you don't look presidential or a leadership role. I'm glad we didn't vote for you for president. I mean it wouldn't have mattered no way. But you definitely don't play the part that well. See what I'm saying? It might as well be casting. So I'm not here to hate on RFK. I'm not mocking him or his voice or anything. I'm just saying adults don't need other adults to make decisions for them. That's part of how we got in this mess in the first place. Is all y'all looking to the people up there and the CDC and well they can test it and they can tell me whether or not my baby might get hepatitis B on the first day of life. Maybe he will, so never mind, that was operating system 4.0 update. That was the first installation disk, and then that vitamin K. That's the second installation disk. Oh yeah, vitamin K. Oh yeah, we used to use forceps, and it caused some hemorrhaging, and so because baby's vitamin K isn't born, then maybe like take this. I mean, all we know is vitamin K. All we know is what the outsourced lab that my boss paid to say, give me some results I can take to the bank. All we know is that lab over there said some stuff that got us an approval, and here you go. And y'all really want somebody to actually go over there and tell them not to tell you to do that to your baby. Please go up there into the Health and Human Services chair and change out 2,000 jobs so that hopefully one of them can change up a rule that tells this doctor to tell this other doctor not to tell me to stick this in my baby's arm. Please! I don't want to stick it in my baby's arm, yo. I don't want to do it. Please go and tell them not to do this on what? The behalf of those who are going to get it anyway? Because the brainwashing is not from the Health and Human Services Department. It's from the TV show. You're going to go back to every episode of Grey's Anatomy and doggone ER and all these shows and like have them undo all that programming that they laced in people? It don't come from the HHS anyway. It just shows y'all don't know how this works. I'm not trying to be mad at you. I'm not. I'm trying to calm down. Bring it on down. I'm not trying to be mad at you whatsoever. I will say this. I'm not trying to be mad. I'm just trying to say when I'm watching this, I'm kind of going, like what is happening? This is the problem. The news talks to you like you're two. They have grown adults, and it's mostly like my generation and the boomers especially. They really have whole grown smart folk looking at a man. I don't even know how old this dude is, Trump, at the moment. He was like 74 when he caught the Roni, right? So he like late 70s, maybe 80. I don't know when this dude was born. It's basically someone old enough to be your grandfather or father if you're in the boomer generation. They're him, his CIA director, I should say former CIA director, Robert Redford. There will be, for sure, oh yeah, there's definitely going to be a pandemic. There's going to be bird flu. Meanwhile, Operation Stargate. Meanwhile, every time a new technology comes out, Everybody deals with a pandemic. Every single time they introduce a new technology, a pandemic comes out to cover the fact that the technology is what made everybody sick, not the swine flu, bird flu, monkeypox, Zika virus, H1N1, H5N3. These are like H5 subfolder N3, execute, blast, biofield, resonate. These 10% of people caught the app and their body uptook it, so now they're detoxing. They go to work, they go on the subway, they go to the bus, they go to the store, and because their biofield is interacting like it naturally does with other biofields, people experience the phenomenon of either shedding or, in the case of the Lyme virus, I caught COVID. I caught it. Like a particle, like a football particle, like an orange. This is COVID, y'all. Never mind, we haven't isolated. Maybe it came from a lab. Maybe. Rand Paul got so much to say about this stuff now. Why don't you finish your conversation with Fauci from 3 years ago, bro? Weapons, gain of function research. Excuse me, why have I, the not politician, already read the NIH document that thanks the Wuhan Institute of China for the gain of function research, yet Mr. Rand Paul up there has not read that because Fauci just lying to your face and you're not just shutting it down. It's either you haven't done your homework, which is making you unfit to even be in a position of challenging him, or you knew not to bring that study up in the first place because the whole point was to release the steam, like I said earlier. Y'all know when a cow gets too much fart in his stomach or the cud thing don't go right, to get that bloat, and you gotta literally puncture the cow's fifth belly or fourth belly. I don't know which one. You hit and all this gas and stank and funk come out, bacteria and dookie. That's the purpose of these individuals in the bigger system. That's your RFK. That's your Donald Trump. Trump is definitely the magician in this context of it. I should say the magician of the actors. He's definitely the lead actor. He's not the executive producer. But that's what's happening big and small. So when this guy comes in front of an audience of nobody but his own people, repeats how pro-vaccine he is 50, 100 billion times, that's a programming tool. Because RFK, he's our guy, but he's pro-vaccine, but he's our guy, but he's always saying he's pro-vaccine. He just says for safe vaccines. But like, even when the vaccine we know wasn't safe, his wife still made everybody at the Christmas party get it. Yeah, we see Curb Your Enthusiasm up there sitting up here. She need to curb all her enthusiasm. In fact, all her enthusiasm was curbed. If anybody in there was feeling like I was feeling, it was homegirl, the wife, sitting next to Megyn Kelly. She was like, whoo, I'm ready to go. Whoo, politics is for him. We get a break in between our acts. We don't got to act this long in a row when I'm working with Larry David, bro. It's not like this. We get to take a break. We get to go look at some line. Like, I don't know. She was looking all kinds of checked out, but I don't even blame her. Like, she know how this work. And so do he. So I don't see no lawyer wife sitting up here. He's such a loyal wife behind his side. That's not what I heard. I know people that know people, and I didn't hear the word around the block. Word around the block. In the hotel lobby like a yeah. But no. Trustworthy guy. We should trust him with the leadership of our country. Because look at what he's done to 2 wives at least now. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, these men are not your heroes. They're not even your Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. They're not even Tony Kukoc, doggone Divac, or Steve Kerr. Nobody. Not even Dennis Rodman. At least he can rebound. These people can't rebound. When you say anyone else, are you saying, am I reflecting or suggesting anyone else? The answer is no. The point isn't that there's somebody better. The point is, it's a rigged thing. I was thinking of this analogy earlier. If Jim Henson Studios, raise your hand if you've actually been to the Jim Henson Studios in Los Angeles. Some people have. I had some friends who used to record out of Henson Studios. So Jim Henson was a master puppeteer storyteller. Now there's a lot of icky wicky odd stories about him in the background. But if we're talking Bert versus Ernie, Elmo versus Oscar the Grouch, okay, Big Bird versus Snuffleupagus. Like, if that's what we're talking about, Big Bird versus Snuffleupagus, Elmo versus Oscar, and Bert versus Ernie. If I have a problem with Bert because I'm telling you that the Jim Henson Network and the funding banks behind Jim Henson's network are problematic, and there's a lot of dirty things that happen behind the studio doors and in the random rooms at this pretty odd looking, it doesn't look like a typical music studio. It looks like I don't know, like some office park from Narnia. Okay? If Henson Studios, now this is just the music half, right? The audio half. Never mind the sound stage. But if I have a problem with the corporate dynamic, and I'm telling you that Jim Henson and the people who fund him are working on a global internet based on all humans, of all materials, plants and animals, and I'm pointing to you how it doesn't make any sense to pay attention to Oscar the Grouch or Snuffleupagus because they're just not hitting you with no points. The second Miss Piggy got something to say against Oscar the Grouch, Oscar don't never fire back. He take too long to get to his point. Asking me, well, who else would you recommend? It's like asking me, well, will we swapping Ernie for Elmo? Like that's going to change the Jim Henson enterprise? I'm trying to give you these analogies because I want y'all to understand it's bigger than Trump. The guy appointing RFK is reading cue cards with two multi-billionaires standing behind him. And y'all want to tell me that the guy, at least, if not more than 4 layers down from the two people with the checkbooks, is going to do something against the agenda of the two people with the checkbooks? Building the data center called STARGATE, the alien former CIA operation where they literally connected people's minds to the internet. Nuh-uh, it was about remote viewing. You better go listen to Sabrina, what she be saying. Apparently, in the 802.15. Working group, that is the ratified standard working group that the IEEE has set up, not only for your actual biofield at 802.15.6, but there's 802.15.4, which is Bluetooth, 802.15.5, which is your mesh networking, 802.15.7, which is who knows, they ain't really telling, and then you got 802.15.8, which is your remote viewing and astral surveillance channel, which they've been working on for pushing 100 years because it's relying from technology from the previous civilizations that they lying about where they came from and putting commas and zeros in front of every date they done given you since the 1800s. I'm yelling. I didn't see who you're replying to, Johnny. Intelligent people are getting tired of being quiet. You're right. That's why I'm yelling. It's because I'm like, it's a bunch of adults watching Bert and Ernie. Like, literally, Oscar the Grouch might as well be Bernie Sanders. And motherfucking Elmo or Gonzo might as well be RFK. He's not landing no punch. His punches are landing as hard as Elmo's or Gonzo's punches will be landing. Now, okay, I'm going to give y'all an example. I'm not even classically a Candace Owens fan. I'm only bringing Candace Owens up in the context of, if you want somebody who can talk their way through an issue, put Candace up there. Make her the HHS person. If you try, or at least the spokesperson for it all. Now, she wouldn't do that. She seems to be exiting the game. And again, I'm not sitting here vouching for her because I don't get into politics, and she's still politics adjacent, even though she does seem to be Homer Simpsoning her way out of that conversation. I'm bringing her up to say Candace's tongue is like Zorro's sword. That's who you need to reply to Elizabeth Warren, not Snuffleupagus back here. God, dog, get him on the bench. Put somebody in who can shoot. It's a war out here. What are y'all talking about? Like, it's like, what are y'all talking about? Well, he's the best we got. Yeah, you're right. Isn't that sad that Gonzo and Miss Piggy and Elmo is the best we got? We got doggone Jim Henson, the robot version, looking at the cue cards the whole time. All right, you guys were here. It's the second day. I know none of y'all asked for this, but Project Stargate. I guess we're launching Stargate. Drill, drill, drill. They told me to say drill because we're live, and I said Stargate. So everybody who knows what Stargate and what drill from the president of the U.S. means, that means get on your marks, because that's the cue, and the plebes and the profane have no clue because that's how we design this. But drill, 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 baby, drill. Right? Out of nowhere, Mr. Electric Everything is standing next to the guy talking about drill, drill, drill. It's a completely schizophrenic message. And the guys with all the money back there, they're running things. They're trying to go to Mars. They are the ones saying, oh, yeah, by 2040, we'll be able to upload our neural cortex to the cloud. Do y'all realize that smart people don't speak about future predictions that gonna make them look stupid when they don't come true? Smart businessmen do not speak about future predictions that's gonna make them look stupid when they don't come true. Okay? So when he says things like, we're going to be, that means it's going to take me about 15 years to finish the R&D and the scale up, but we're already doing it for the private sector and some of the public sector, the people who got the right password. And if you want to like control your Tesla with your mind, or you want to go to Mars, you want to go to this planet, that planet, just let me know the app, get the subscription, and we'll upload it, beam you right up. Synthetic biology, augmented humans, human augmentation. This is not only a thing, it's a commercial thing. It's not even a secret in the case of CRISPR. They don't brand it as augmentation. They just call it gene therapy. But you can augment or change defects in your body. Right? So I'm saying all this because I want y'all to understand that it doesn't matter how you slice it. This confirmation was a whole monkey show. This was like that scene in, what's the movie where the monkey goes crazy and like rampages the whole scene, the last scene in the movie, right? They're so far beyond getting a guy into the HHS position that's going to pass legislation that's going to change the behavior and the psychology of millions and billions of people. That's just not a thing. Even if 4 years of RFK saying vaccines are the worst thing on earth, it wouldn't land on people who've spent 40 years being told the opposite, and people not even listening to him on all the channels that had nobody watching the thing except for Fox. It's just kind of like, it's a circle jerk at this point. It's a circle jerk. It just is. And I'm not mad at people in the jerk. I'm just saying, please don't get your hopes up, because then you get your hopes down. If y'all thought that this man changed his stand, or now he's showing his true colors, no, he's showing them same colors this whole time. You just wasn't paying attention. If y'all, well, you know, he's got 5D chess, you gonna be saying 5D chess right up until they jack your behind up into the internet because you had to for work, and where I don't know what that's gonna mean for your eternal life. It might be eternally in the $500 billion data center that they just built. I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't think they got the Christian version of this waiting in the wings, oh, I bet Paula White got her own server. The Paula White world is all white. All they talk about is Paul. It's great. They only preach verses from Paul, and it's all white. It's Paula White's heaven. It's going to be a whole subscription app, and you're going to be able to literally go there and then not return because, oops, you didn't read the EULA, the end user license agreement. And they told you right there. And you trusted them. Woo! It's crazy. It's 5D chess. 5D chess is going to have y'all in the 5th dimension. It's going to be the 5th upgrade of this chess app in your head, where each quadrant of your brain is a chess piece. And we playing with it like this with a joystick, with a PlayStation controller. I don't know what else to tell y'all. I just know they're further along than they're letting people on. I'm gonna eat this orange, and I'm at the house. I've been driving all day, so I'm gonna go in and see my lovely family. I'm gonna mellow out my rant, and I'm gonna land it like an airplane that hopefully doesn't run into a helicopter. And I'm going to just simply say, take it from me, if it may, maybe, just maybe, this confirmation was a bit of a hard thing to watch. It was a bit of a letdown. And I understand it could be, if you really had your hopes up that this was somehow going to be different with RFK. I get it. I understand why you would be let down by that awful performance. If you somehow think RFK exposes Bernie, I saw that on the post today. I was like, exposes him? How? Bernie Sanders sound like Horace and Boris arguing. Like, they just sound like two old people arguing. It just doesn't sound like anything. It just is like, what are y'all even talking about? Well, will you agree today to go and take this off your website? I sold that company months. I don't have any stake again. Okay, first of all, yes, RK, we know that, but you act like you can't call somebody up and tell them to take it off. Not that you should, but don't say that answer like, yeah, he doesn't work there. Bill Gates don't work at Microsoft, but he can't call Steve Ballmer or whoever the Microsoft CEO is and tell him to make a change on the store, on the web store, the merch store. If he wanted to, he could call him right there, be like, all right, I'm gonna do it. Hey, Pamela, can you take the stuff off? Take these two onesies, this item number and this SKU number. Yeah, just hide them from the store. Okay, great. Okay, done it. If he wanted to. Not that he should have, not that I'm suggesting that he should have. It's just corny that y'all accepted that weak answer as like him sticking it to show Bernie his like expose. It's like, Bernie Sanders, why are you even suggesting him to do some foolishness like that? If you knew he ended the thing, why would you even say that? Why would you even bring that up? Why would you ask him a question and then flip? And then they just go to the other senator, the Republican one, or congressman rather, and the Republican's like, well, Mr. Kennedy, how you doing today? You feeling better? I know it's been a kind of crazy, tough morning. It's trauma because it's abuse of your hero and then praise of your hero. Abuse of your hero from Elizabeth Warren, praise of your hero. It takes your emotions like this, and most people don't know how to parse out all of it's hogwash, none of it matters. They got some AI up in these shot. Hey, shot. Yeah, they all saying, oh, I'm not against it. I'm pro. Because that's going to allow for all the freedom shots. Okay, it's not going to be called Smart City. Like, it's going to be called a smart vaccine. It's going to be called a Freedom City. And you can get the freedom vaccine. It's different. It's these servers, not those servers. I mean, yes. Okay. Operation Warp Speed and then STARGATE was all about jacking you into the cloud. Okay, maybe. And I know most of y'all didn't want that. And I know that's exactly what the Antichrist did say he was going to do. Promise you something and then deceive you. I'm not saying it's me, but I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying, at least you're on freedom servers. And that little switcheroo I did with TikTok in the background where I moved them over to the Truth Social service, I had bought all them servers for Truth Social, wasn't popping off. I needed to figure out a way to justify that bill, that investment, or else my investors was going to come in. You know what I'm saying? So I just made a boss move against the TikTok investors, and I bought the majority share, but had to put in my holdings company and have my fiduciary of the holdings company do all the paperwork, so it's 2 degrees removed. Then I made sure that on that opening screen it said, "Thank you, Donald Trump, for restoring TikTok." Once for 12 hours it was banned because of China. They make everything in your house, but TikTok banned. Go around your house. Made in China. They could put smart dust and all of that stuff. But no. Vaccines. Safe. Just safe ones. Not all of them. Never mind the manufacturers. It's only like 5 companies, and all the ones that we keep telling you manufacture don't really manufacture the active ingredient. They just manufacture the juice and the adjuvant. Technically, the active ingredient is coming from a clearance level that, you guys are not really allowed to know or talk about. So, gotta eat that orange. It's a juicy orange too. Ooh-wee. This orange is popping. Citrusy. I'm gonna citrus my eyes down. It just doesn't actually work like they tell us. They're using this mRNA as a software platform, y'all. and they're saying we're building a data center. And then the main guy that everybody who's kind of learned the truth about vaccines, who is representing the voice of the probably majority, well, I don't say majority, but a large minority of people who genuinely don't want this, and the best he can say, oh, he's all for it, all for it, all for it, and never once does he challenge anything ever except for this COVID, like the lowest hanging fruit. You said it would stop transmission and disease, and it didn't. Okay, but it's also installing a computer operating system on your body. Say that. Talk about that. Talk about that. Never mind the Lex Friedman podcast. Talk about what's going on. That's why I can't watch it. Because in my head and in my heart, it's just so disconnected from what's really happening, y'all. We're under a war, and all they can do is be like, let's wave the white flag at all the criminals. Everybody in this room is getting money from some organization with a acronym that starts with an A and ends with a C. And we're just conveniently not going to talk about that. Let's talk about the pharmaceutical money that Elizabeth Warren's getting versus the pharmaceutical money Trump's getting. Everybody gets money. He didn't mention Scott Gottlieb once. I would have been like, Elizabeth Warren, excuse you. Do you understand and remember who Scott Gottlieb is / was in as relates to the revolving door that is these departments? It's like, don't come talk to me before you ain't say nothing to him. Like don't bark at me like that, yo, Bulldog Warren. So with that, I'm gonna finish my orange, go in there, see my kiddos, step off my high horse, dismounted. The real war is much more along than they're letting on. And it's been going for so long, people don't even know it. They just think they equate it with normal life and normal confusion and brain fog and lethargy and fatigue. But it's not that, y'all. We will, Johnny, I promise. Let's go. I've seen them go into hiding. What's up, Aquafine? Josh, you're funny. All I'm saying is, it's not like my heart. Okay, if you've considered any of what I've said up to this point mockery, consider this amnesty. I am not against you or Robert F. Kennedy. Like I said, I have mutual friends, and I like those friends. They're actually super great people, and we get along and talk all the time. It's fine. It's not a problem. It's just he's caught up in a system so much bigger than him that the guy who's in charge of the whole operation is reading cue cards from the people behind him who are in charge of an operation bigger than them, who have already rolled most of this out. I just don't think it's doing anybody any justice to slow roll it or lowball it. What was I trying to say? Slow roll it or lowball it. That don't even make no sense. Slow roll it or low ball it. You getting? Anywho, what's up, Caroline Lives? I'm gonna go talk to your girl. She been in here with these babies all day. I'm gonna go skate in right before bedtime. Be like, oh, here I am, responsible dad. I read you a bedtime story, baby. It was the shortest book in here. Hop on Pop, Dr. Seuss. But why do I think it was banned for 12 hours? Because the point wasn't to ban it. The point was just to get the whole world talking about it. Keep in mind, both when it was banned and when it was unbanned, Donald Trump's name was on the screen. We are sorry. Unfortunately, you cannot log into TikTok, but we are working closely with President-elect Donald Trump to get it back. For 12 hours later. We are thankful for President-elect. It's just like, come on now. That's not how tech PR works. Tech PR would say invalid error. It would say nothing, like error 404, or it would say TikTok is restricted in this region, period. Or if anything, it would say, we're working with local authorities to resolve the matter. It don't get into the presidents and the specific names. That was just a stunt. I think y'all heard me when I said he got grazed in the ear by the thing that should have blown a bruise over half his face from the air pressure alone. And then the very next day, he was like, no bandage with a hat on. And then the next day after that, he had a pillow on. And then a week after that, he ain't looked like anything had happened to him. I'm telling y'all, this man's been stunting this whole time. And it's worked on you, not me. Because I don't be paying attention, but I appreciate the stunt. I'm like, he got shot twice, pulled it off, and people just stopped talking about it. Then he's like reading some cue cards, and people think he's like, I don't know, making America healthy again by giving everybody cancer cures in 48 hours. Okay, so y'all had this. Y'all just figured it out this morning and you had a press conference, or you already had the cancer cure. You just didn't tell nobody who might have died last week that you could have cured it in 48 hours. Or you did, and many people have known this for years. You just gotta be part of the transhumanist network where they install a cybernetic AI managed healthcare system via the medical body area network. And then we'll hit the cancer subscription. You got the premium subscription? Okay, great. Cancer 0. Oh, what was that you said online? All right, that's what I thought. Cancer 0. That's what they working on. So don't sit there and think that if they're throwing out pharma and the all the ridiculous setups that have gotten us all the different injections we've been given today, that should have been on everybody's individual plate to have come to grips with at this point. That goes for everything. Food, water, medications, drugs, everything that you put in your body. I shouldn't have to tell y'all adults this as an adult. I'm here for the people that's ready to think and are just kind of bored with the clownery. Because when I sit there and I watch Bernie Sanders just be like, no, you go use it right now. And I'm going, do y'all? It sounded like I walked into a nursing home to see some grandpa that wasn't even mine, and he's arguing with the other dude next to him over who's mahjong. That's what it sounds like. Like if you're just not looking at the TV, you just hear two old, scraggly voice-sounding people argue. And I'm going, the whole world is watching this, y'all. Keep in mind that we are the Snooki. That was Snooki and Jay Wow. That was the Jersey Shore to the whole rest of the world. They just saw your boy, not even my boy, y'all boy, and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren tussle like some real world road rules Jersey Shore. The whole world, all the rest of the billions, never mind the 330 million that's clueless to what's going on domestically. This is why it's like, forget them. Concentrate on you and your family, on your own situation, your own soul, your own well-being, your own biofield, your own protective zone, and forget them. Literally ignore them. Because when you pay attention to them, it's like ignoring wrestling, pro wrestling, from when I was like 18 to being like 38. Like 20 years later, I go back and I watch a pro wrestling and I go, ooh, wow, I used to watch this. This is like, I used to think this was real. I'm like, oh, wow. It's the same for me, because I've stopped watching politics so long ago that when I go back and I watch it, I'm going, oh, wow. Like real grown adults over here talking like patents, math, algebra, electronics, technology, all kinds of stuff. And they over here talk about, you better take this onesie off that website that you don't control but totally could if you really made a phone call. It's just so stupidly asinine that I'm like, please don't be mad. Please don't be mad. I'm not mad at RFK. I just got uncomfortable being mad at myself for even wasting the time that I wasted watching that. So I stopped watching it after like 30 minutes. But I'll leave y'all with this. They're switching a lot of things out. We're out with the old, in with the new phase, and I think that it's happening quicker than people realize. It seems that way, because I think that the more people that truly find out about the scope of what they're doing, the less people that actually join in, and it makes their data center not as popular as the $500 billion investment they just put down. I don't think it's like, I think there's a lot bigger money pools elsewhere, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. I just think that the point is to continue fueling the beast. And a day after the most abysmal representation of health ever to show up in a counter argument against the state, airplane crashes into a helicopter and everybody stops talking about it. It's like, I mean, I guess, like, sure, who knows? Everything from a remote control drone to a MK Ultra pilot to a pilot that wasn't MK Ultra but had his arm taken over by a DARPA N4 N5 remote neural monitoring network, to a guy who is a kamikaze crazy, to a guy who simply wasn't. It was an accident. It was just a basic accident, no conspiracy. Any of those scenarios are possible. I don't know. All I know is it's one day closer to Operation Starlink going live. Meet George Johnson. Dun, 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 dun. Donald, his president. Dun, 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 dun. Here's Sam Altman. I'm a robot. That's what y'all watching. Hi, my name is Eli. My son's name is. That's what y'all voting for. And don't come crying to me, or like, I'm gonna say crying, but don't come complaining if you realize that you made a bad choice, because they're not gonna force you into nothing. They're going to rebrand it away from the way the Biden crew would have branded it, and the person reading the cue cards is not in control of anything. He's in control of selling it to you, not to me, to you. It's up to you if you're gonna buy it. And right now, that's why I'm gonna say buy it. Right? All right, you get it. All right, y'all have a good night. All right, we'll catch you next time. Boop, 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 doo. I gotta take a woo, I gotta pee.